Hello, everybody. We're going to get started soon here, but we're kind of jamming to Jackson 5 right now, so I feel kind of bad cutting into the song. It is Motown Mondays here on WXOU, so but we'll have to cut it short. Show starting. We're good, right? Support now? Alright. Thank you. Sorry, I got paranoid with the start. Alright, fine. We'll just let the song ride. It's 18 seconds left. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow, right here on 88.3 FM WXOU, Auburn Hills, Michigan, Oakland University, and all your wonderful station identification features. I am your host, Giovanni Mosheri, who is also the sports media director here at WXOU, and if you're new here, the GioMoShow is your home for all Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. You can follow WXOU and our MAB award-winning social media platforms. We got Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can find that all on WXOU.org, our website. You can go and follow me as well, Giovanni Mosheri, the host of the GioMoShow. The GioMoShow does also have its own Instagram page. All the social media is linked below in the live stream on YouTube right now or on the later podcast release of the GioMoShow, which you can find at any time on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Give me a 5-star review, give it a like and a subscribe to wherever it applies, and finally you can go and follow WXOU Sports on YouTube for live streams of all of our broadcasts, or all of our game broadcasts here at WXOU, including interviews, including highlights, including some of our other sports shows as well. So WXOU Sports is the place to be, and especially today because later at 1:30 Oakland baseball will be live right here at WXOU, and it is live streamed on WXOU Sports. We're facing Toledo today as Oakland University baseball is on the road looking to continue the firestorm that they have been rolling through the past week, and we'll be talking all about that. We'll be talking about softball doing a similar firestorm themselves throughout the Horizon League. We'll talk all about baseball and softball for this edition of the GioMoShow. In addition to that, we'll also have story time with Jomo, because tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the laptop game. And if you're not familiar with the laptop game is, be sure to stay tuned to the end of the show, and I'll tell you all about it. It has to do with a baseball game that I called last year, April 2nd, against Milwaukee. If that's ringing a bell for any of you guys listening here on WXOU.org or on YouTube. And before we get started, I want to tell you guys about some of the other broadcasts that we got coming up here on the station here. So to mark your calendars and to make sure that you're getting all your Oakland live sports that you can for free here on WXOU. As mentioned, that we have a 1:30 start for today's road game against Toledo for baseball. It was originally scheduled for 3 o'clock today, but some rain in the forecast forced the game to be moved up to 1:30. But no worries, we still got Gavin Smolowski and we still got Drew Allison on the call. I'll be running the studio for the game as well. And then we got tomorrow at home. Tomorrow, the baseball team faces Bowling Green to continue more of their MAC matchups. Well, it'll be Harj and Kayla on the call as well. Gavin will be in studio. And then this weekend, we got softball, as Oakland softball is hosting a doubleheader against Youngstown State this Saturday at 1 o'clock and 3:30. I'll be on the call with Patty Cesarini on both of those games, as well as the doubleheader will be going through to WXOU. So gave you a heads up. I gave you a heads up on our broadcast, on the show today, but I got one more message for you before we get started on the GioMoShow. If you need something fun to do with your friends, then I may have the answer for you. Escapeology is the largest and the best escape room franchise in the world. Escape rooms are an incredible way to spend time with friends, family, and loved ones, and Escapeology could be the place for you. They have escape room themes such as Scooby-Doo, Murder on the Orient Express, The Code, and Under Pressure. www.escapology.com has all the information you need to escape with your friends. Again, that is www.escapology.com. Escapology is located at 82 Macomb Place in Mount Clemens. It's Escapology, where time is of the essence. So let's get things started here with Oakland University baseball, as they have been a flamethrower lately from this past week, even the past couple of weeks here from the diamond of many different schools here. By the way, what I'm about to read for you guys will kind of give you guys the trends of the past couple of games here for Oakland baseball. Also, what's up, Eric? Appreciate you tapping into the GioMoShow YouTube live stream, getting involved in the chat there. Much appreciated. But for Oakland baseball, they've been on the road for a long time at this point. They were supposed to be at home last weekend against Youngstown State, but the March snow got that kicked over to be played in Youngstown. So they have been on the road since March 13th, when they played Cleary University on a bright and sunny Wednesday. But since then, they have been on the road, and they have been lighting it up. A tweet came out via their official Twitter account saying, since defeating Central Michigan on March 19th, the Golden Grizzlies have outscored their opponents 86-35. That stretch includes 2 Horizon League Road Series victories and a midweek win over Michigan State. 86-35 has been the score over these past few games. It's insane. I think the average brings it up to like 13 runs a game. Like it's incredible what Oakland baseball has been able to do, especially after they were predicted to be the 3rd place team in the Horizon League after coming off of 2 runner-up campaigns in the Horizon League championships, in the Horizon League tournament. But Oakland is really making a statement here. Those 2 road series wins were, as mentioned, Youngstown State and Wright State. Wright State, the 3-time reigning Horizon League champions, winners of like most of the past 7 Horizon League championships. Oakland was able to go into their house and win the series in, I don't want to say completely convincing fashion, but pretty darn good fashion. I would say so myself. But we'll go through chronologically the games that they have played, and then we'll get into softball as well before we get into story time with Jomo, talk about the laptop game. But to start off, Tuesday, what day was that? Tuesday the 27th, this past Wednesday, Oakland traveled to East Lansing to face the Michigan State Spartans, and Oakland is not afraid to go against the Big Ten. Oakland, for at least the past couple of years, went to Ann Arbor and beat the Wolverines. This year, unfortunately, did not have the same outcome, but they made up for that with an 11-7 win over the Michigan State Spartans, where Oakland came out of the gates on fire. Top of the second inning was the first run scored, and it was by Oakland. Not just 1 run, but 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in the top of the second inning, matched only by Michigan State with 2 runs following their turn in the second inning. And from there, Oakland was able to hold off a potential comeback from the Spartans, as in the 4th inning, Michigan State was able to rack up 4 runs to tie the game at 6. But then Oakland, 2 runs in the 7th, 2 runs in the 8th, and 1 more in the 9th to secure the win for Oakland in East Lansing. 11-7 was the final score there. And then they traveled to Wright State. And if I got to lay it out for you guys again to kind of set the stage, Wright State is historically a dominant Horizon League program when it comes to baseball. They have won the past 3 Horizon League championships, and even before that, the trend was 5 of the last 7 or something like that. You'll have to go and research the number specifically, but it's in the realm of that. Wright State baseball is very, very good, and on top of that, they were the team that Oakland lost to, in the past 2 Horizon League championship games. Naturally, if Wright State won it, but Oakland made it 2 years in a row, lost to them 2 years in a row, and now they get the revenge in Dayton, Ohio on the road, and it started off with a monster win. They cut the game short to only 7 innings, not because they decided to play softball, but because the game ended in a mercy. Oakland won the first game of the 3-game series 19-1 over the Wright State Raiders. It was incredible. Oakland started off. They had no hesitation. They wasted no time getting the scoring started as they jumped out to a 9-0 lead after the first inning. Not only did they score 9 runs in the first inning, but they shut out Wright State in the next 6 innings. Wright State did not score a run until the 7th final inning of the game. And by then, Oakland already had their 19 points and enough for the mercy rule to kick in. 20 runs in that game and only allowing 5 is an incredible way to start the series. Going through some of the stats here, we'll start with the pitching by Hunter Pydek. Pitched all 7 innings, allowed only 5 hits, only 1 run, struck out two batters as well. Getting to the batting, I mean, it'll be a bit of a number vomit, so forgive me, but listen, there's 19 runs and there's 20 hits to go around, so we'll get some of the highlights there. Trent Rice was 2 for 3 with 3 runs and an RBI. Brandon Nye was 3 of 5 with a run and 4 RBIs. John Lowinger was 3 of 3 with 2 runs and an RBI. Aiden Orr, 3 of 4, 2 runs, 2 RBIs. And Carter Hain, 2 for 3, a run and 3 RBIs. I can't name everybody, but that kind of gives you a sense. It kind of gives you the flavor of that game. 19-1 against Wright State is crazy. And they followed that up, unfortunately, with a close loss in the second game of the series. 4-5 was the final score, where it was kind of a tight game throughout. Oakland started off the scoring with 2 runs in the top of the second, and then by the end of the 4th inning, Wright State was able to gain the lead, a lead that was 5-4, it was 4-3 after the 4th inning. Oakland was able to get the lead, I'm trying to do math as I'm reading the box score. Oakland was able to tie the game in the 5th inning 4-4, but then the scoring froze all the way until the bottom of the 8th inning, where Wright State got their single run to get the lead, a lead that they would hold on to as they shut out Oakland in the top of the 9th, their last chance to tie or get the lead, and the game ended at the top of the 9th, 4-5, Wright State win. Wright State had 10 hits on the day, and obviously 5 runs scored. Oakland had 8 runs, 8 hits with 4 runs. I'm trying to get my sea legs, or I'm trying to get my baseball legs underneath me here. Trying to get used to reading all that. But very close game for game 2 of the series, and that meant that game 3 was a winner-take-all for the Horizon League series, and it was one that was won by Oakland University. They completed the series win on the road against Wright State, winning game 3, 12-7. In the game, it looked like Oakland had it in the bag by the 5th inning, where they scored their first runs, but that included 6 runs at the top of the 5th inning. But Wright State was able to make it a closer game. By the bottom of the 6th inning, it was 6-6. It was a tie game, and then Wright State ended up getting the lead in the next inning, 7-6. Oakland, thankfully, fortunately, awesome-tacularly, Oakland in the 8th inning showed no mercy. 4 runs in the 8th, 2 runs in the 9th, got the lead and the game 12-7 for the Golden Grizzlies. So they get the huge series win over Wright State. And as mentioned before at the top of the segment here, since March 19th, Oakland has outscored their opponents 86-35. 86-35. Over how many games? Since 19th, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. Do the math. That was pretty hefty hitting for the Golden Grizzlies, and great pitching as well, and great defense as a whole. Some of their upcoming games, we mentioned it before on the upcoming broadcast, but to give you guys more of the official read on the upcoming schedule. Today at 1:30, they will be on the road at Toledo, a game that you can hear right here on WXOU. I'll be running the studio for that one with Drew and Gavin over there in, I don't know what the field's called, Rockets Field? They don't show a name of the field here, but they're in Toledo. So that game is going to be going on today, shortly after the show at 1:30. And then tomorrow, home game, 2:30 against Bowling Green. And then they will be on the road, baseball will be on the road to face Milwaukee, which also ties into the laptop game story that I'm going to be telling you guys at the end of the show here. So be sure to be ready for that. And also get ready for the Blue Ski Mask Show. Tuesdays from 4 to 5 on WXOU. The Blue Ski Mask Show is the ultimate radio show for football and basketball aficionados in the Motor City. Oakland Post hosting this show, those sports editor Brock Hillig and sports reporter Kurt Szymanski. They'll take you on an exhilarating ride through the world of the Detroit Lions and Detroit Pistons. Get ready for in-depth analysis, player spotlights, game reviews, expert insights, all centered around the NFL and NBA action in the Motor City. So join us and stay connected to the heartbeat of the city sports scene and never miss a beat of the action. Tuesdays from 4 to 5 right here on WXOU and uploaded later to a podcast version wherever you get your podcasts and on WXOU Sports on YouTube. So with that, we will continue to Oakland University softball when we come back from this break here on the GioMoShow, your home for Oakland sports and beyond. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM, WXOU. The GioMoShow, your home for Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. We just got done talking about softball and the absolute firestorm that they have been taking through the league and taking through their out-of-conference play as well. They've just been on fire lately, and we were talking all about that in the last segment. If you're listening to it on YouTube, or rather you're watching it on YouTube, then you can skip back, rewind the show, and get your baseball update for the week. But until then, we are now talking about softball, and be sure to keep an eye out for the podcast release of the GioMoShow here, so that you never miss a second of the action here from WXOU's premier sports show. So now getting into softball. This past week they have had a home game, and then the rest of it has been on the road. Oakland has gone 3-2 in this past week of play, starting with a home game against Western Michigan. The Broncos came to town to open up the home section of the season for Oakland softball, and this one was close throughout the entire game. Scoring didn't start until the 5th inning, and even then it was few and far between. Western Michigan got the first crack at it, hitting home plate in the 5th inning to get a single run, but like I mentioned, up until then there was no scoring. This is a very defensive game that ended up being played, but then Oakland responded in the bottom of the 6th inning to get 2 runs and the lead for the game to go up 2-1, thanks to Macy Brown and Cameron Troyer, who stole home to get that lead for Oakland University. But unfortunately, they were not able to shut out the Broncos in the 7th inning that would have locked up the game for them. Unfortunately, 2 runs were scored by the Broncos in the top of the 7th inning, and Oakland was unable to match it and their final chance at the bottom of the 7th. Thus, the final score was 3-2 in favor of the Western Michigan Broncos in Oakland's home opener. And then they went on the road to stay in the MAC to face the Central Michigan Chippewas in a game that was eerily similar to the one Oakland just got done playing against Western. For it was, once again, scoreless up until the 5th inning of the game. This time Oakland was the one to get the first score, where Macy Brown scored on a wild pitch to get Oakland the 1-0 lead in the top of the 5th. But then it was no scoring until the final 7th inning. Oakland went up 3-0 with another 2 runs by Kritzka hitting a double for an RBI. With Jen Kritzka hitting a double, including an RBI. And then Caraway doubling to right field for an RBI as well to get Oakland that 3-0 lead in the top of the 7th. Central Michigan made it close as they also scored 7 runs in the 7th inning, but did not get enough to get the lead before the game was over, as Oakland walked out of Central Michigan, came home from Mount Pleasant victors 3-2 over the Chippewas. Like I mentioned, this game was really, really close to the one that was previously played against Western Michigan. Like I mentioned, no scoring until the 5th inning, of which it was just the 1 run for the visiting team. And then it was a 2 runs scored in a particular inning for each team to make it close. And, it's just really weird how close these games were. But Oakland was 1-1 as of that point in the week. And then they had an away trip to Cleveland State, where they faced the Vikings, starting off with a Friday doubleheader, where Oakland was able to take that one home. 9-4 was the final score for Oakland, winning over Cleveland State in Game 1. This game started off with Cleveland State jumping up to 3-0 at the bottom of the 1st to get their lead in the game. Oakland, however, made it close in the following inning, scoring 2 runs to make it a 3-2 game, before piling on further in the 4th inning with another 2 runs, now up 4-3. And then continued to shut out Cleveland State to allow them to score another 2 runs in the 6th inning to go up 6-3, and then added on 3 more to make it 9 runs on the day. Cleveland State was able to squeak out 1 run in the bottom of the 7th, but it was not enough to beat the Golden Grizzlies that game. 9-4 was the final score of Game 1. Then we get into Game 2 of that doubleheader. Oakland playing another tough defensive game, making this one another victory, this time 3-1 over the Cleveland State Vikings in Viking Field. Scoring was started even in the 1st inning, 1-1 scored by each team, and stayed that way all the way up until the 4th inning, where Oakland got the lead and got the final score of the game, as they scored 2 runs in the top of the 4th to make the score 3-1, which is where the score would stay frozen all the way until the end of the game, giving Oakland the victory 3-1 and already the series win over the Vikings. But a sweep had a chance to be, as Oakland in Game 3 had a chance to sweep the series on the road, but it unfortunately did not materialize to be that way. So we just had to settle with a mere series win. Oakland lost in Game 3, 3-5 over the Vikings, where the scoring was even in the 1st inning as well as the 2nd. 1 run scored in each inning by both teams. And then Cleveland State, 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and Oakland was unable to match that, as Cleveland State would eventually add on top of that lead, given the final score of 3-5. Cleveland State win, saving themselves from a series sweep over the Golden Grizzlies. And that will keep us to where we are at right now. Oakland softball on the season so far are 12-11 overall and 4-2 in conference. They will be coming up next for the Golden Grizzlies, as mentioned in our WXOU broadcast update. They will be hosting Youngstown State this weekend in a 3-game Horizon League series. Friday is the first game of that matchup, Friday at 3 p.m., and then the doubleheader on Kids Day will be at 1 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. WXOU will be there for the doubleheader as well for Kids Day against Youngstown State, and I forgot to mention Friday is also Pride Day, hosted at the Oakland softball field. But they don't just stop there with their home games. Rather, they have a midweek series against Detroit Mercy, hosting Detroit Mercy April 9th, that's this Tuesday, that is rather next Tuesday, they will be hosting Detroit Mercy at 3 p.m. and then Wednesday 1 and 3:30 p.m. for the doubleheader of the series. So be sure to get out there. Be sure to tune in to WXOU. Pretty sure we got a broadcast scheduled for that one, but if not, then keep up to date on WXOU.org on our social media, and you'll know when we're going live for our baseball and softball broadcast for this spring. And after that Detroit series, it will be on the road to Green Bay, and then we're getting too far in the future. We don't want to get too far. So as mentioned, currently 12 and 11 and 4 and 2 in conference for softball. I forgot to mention for baseball their current season standings. Currently, Oakland baseball is 12 and 15 overall, 4 and 5 in conference, but they are 4 and 1 at home. And I've been talking about the firestorm that they've been laying down, the snacketh down that they've been laying on their opponents as of lately. This is the baseball team, but it started off rough with that series sweep, or got swept by Northern Kentucky in the first Horizon League series of the season. Kind of put them in a little bit of a hole there, but since then they've been tearing it up, winning the past 2 road series against Youngstown State. Now starting to dig themselves out, starting to get to 500 in the conference. And we'll see how they play continuing out of conference against Toledo. Once again, that's today at 1:30. In just about 1 hour, Oakland baseball will be live here on WXOU. So, with that, we're going to take another break here on the GioMo Show, and we'll get right back here with story time with the GioMo Show. We'll have to cut the show a little bit short this week due to that baseball broadcast coming up. We have to make sure that we get everything set up for that broadcast. Once again, 1:30, we'll be live here for baseball from Toledo. But until then, I got to tell you guys about Friday Night Groove. Fridays at 8 p.m. on WXOU. Listen to Friday Night Grooves, hosted by DJ RBJ. A legacy series at WXOU, hosted since 2011, where you can hear some of the best soul, best jazz, electronic, indie, and alternative music here at the station. He has interviews with some of the artists that he has played on the show and has one of the best radio voices in the game. So tune in to Friday Night Grooves with DJ RBJ, Fridays at 8 p.m. You can also find more information at FridayNightGroove.com. Follow him on Instagram at Trill Gunderson. That's at TRIL Gunderson. On Instagram to get all the news on the show for Friday Night Grooves, 8 p.m. on Fridays at WXOU. We'll be right back here with more GioMo Show and a little bit of story time. Sway. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't hear the promo. How's my hair looking? There we go. And we're back here on the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM, WXOU. Geronimo Sherry, Sports Media Director here at WXOU, hosting your favorite sports show right here in 88.3 FM. It is now time for story time here on the GioMoShow, as we'll be cutting the show at around 12:45 here to get ready for Oakland baseball coming up at 1:30. But I got to tell you guys a little bit of a story because something reminded me earlier this week that tomorrow is a special day. Tomorrow, April 2nd, is a very special holiday, is a very, a very historic day in the career of the GioMoShow at WXOU Sports, and personally myself, Geronimo Sherry. Something that I got to tell you guys, a story that I'll be telling for the rest of my life, and at every opportunity I get. And this, right now, is that opportunity to tell my story of the laptop game. So to add, or to give you guys context here, because, we're great radio hosts here, let me paint the picture for you about this laptop game. So this was back, obviously, 1 year ago tomorrow. It was a series against Milwaukee that Oakland was playing at the Oakland baseball field. And a couple weeks prior, I was lucky enough to be not voluntold, but to be given the opportunity to call the game for ESPN Plus. Not just for WXOU, but they needed someone to fill in, and they were kind enough to reach out to me and our former sports director, Ben Schrader. We got the opportunity to call the game on TV. We've never done it before, but they know our work, and that we've built up enough a good relationship with them to have that opportunity. So this is both of our first time going on TV. It's a big deal. This is ESPN Plus. This, with all due respect to our wonderful WXOU here, it's a bit of a bigger audience when you're going on TV in that way for Oakland baseball. It's Horizon. It's not just Oakland baseball. We are broadcasting Horizon League baseball. So it's a bit of a bigger deal for us, and we make sure that we're prepared. We had meetings, and making sure we know what to say, how the cough button works. What ads if we got to read any ads. All that stuff. We had to basically learn a new skill in doing a television broadcast as opposed to just a radio broadcast. So me and Ben were setting up, and we're getting real ready for this, a couple weeks in advance of this. So finally, when we get there, it's game 3 of the series. The series is tied up. First game was 4-13. Second game was 12-8. Oakland lost the first. Oakland won the second, and it's now time to see who will win the series. At home against Milwaukee. So I get ready for I get ready for the broadcast. I'm doing color commentary, so I got to make sure that I have a lot of notes on the players that are going to be at play here, because you're going to need a lot more material in a game in baseball where you got a lot more downtime, and you need to basically fill the air and keep the audience interested with some of the little factoids and nuggets about the players, whether they're on defense or batting on offense. So I go through the website. I get all this material. Every player, I got their their high school accomplishments, and I got how many years and where they transferred from. I got nuggets on everybody, on Milwaukee and on Oakland. So on this nice sunny day, it's about 40 degrees. Our broadcast table, we're not in a press box. We're kind of in a way out in the open, but it was a nice day, and we were about 6 feet behind home plates. They got a tall net, so we had to peek through the net to see the game. But we're getting ready to go. We're getting mic'd up. We're getting we're doing sound tests here. And 5 minutes before the game, I got my laptop up on the table. I got my notes ready. Ben had his notes printed out and everything, and Milwaukee's getting their last swings, is getting their last, cracks at the bat before the game starts. We're nervous as hell. We're going to go on TV soon. 5 minutes before the game starts, and we're not up in a press box. We're kind of out in the open, next to some of the seated fans there. So it's not just us listening to each other in like a little bubble. The audience can hear us. And they're looking at us, and they're seeing us. So it's a bit of a live audience in person as well. There's that element to it. So 5 minutes before the game, Milwaukee's getting their cracks at the bat, and I hear the most horrifying words you can ever hear, especially at a baseball game. I hear, Heads up. Boom. The baseball that Milwaukee was hitting came crashing down like a meteor and literally bounced off my laptop. Smashed the thing. Luckily it just hit my monitor, but this thing toasted my laptop. The one that I've done all my schoolwork on. The one that I have all my notes on. I got finals coming up, and I have this laptop that is now shattered by Milwaukee. And then I hear heads up again. Another one is coming right for us. This second one, boom! It hits Ben on the thigh. So, we're 5 minutes before we're going on air. My laptop just got destroyed. And people are looking around. Obviously, they heard the crash of the ball on the table. And they're looking at me terrified. They're waiting to see me like absolutely lose my stuff and flip out. But it was just so shocking. It was so unbelievable that what just happened. My soul left my body. I was left white as a ghost. I had no emotion. I was a husk. I had no idea how to respond. I had no idea what to do. Like, I went blank. And I was like, okay, all right, we get 5 minutes? Okay, let's get rolling here. I tried to pull up some stats on my phone. Like, I couldn't even like begin to dive deep mentally into what just happened, into the money, into the money I paid for that laptop, the schoolwork that I had saved on it. I had no processing power to be able to think about that. So I just like scooted it off and put it underneath the table. I didn't want to look at it. I just like I couldn't grasp with that yet. I had a baseball game to call. So me and Ben are like, dude, what are we gonna do? I just pulled up some live stats on my phone and just winged it. There's nothing you could do to prep for that. And my laptop just got demolished by Milwaukee baseball. I've forgiven them. I'm not mad at them. But I will say, I think they were trying to sabotage the broadcast just a little bit. Because how do you do that twice? He hit the ball the exact same way. Let me give you the scene again. We're like 6 feet, not even, from the net that's like 20, 30 feet tall. The net that's supposed to protect the audience and the broadcasting crew from foul balls that way. It somehow went perfectly like up and over and landed vertically on the table, bouncing off my laptop screen. But I called the game anyway. I had to. It was my job. I couldn't just like not call the game. So whatever live stats I had, whoever was on base, like, just kind of commented on some of the trends that were going on during the game. I had no idea what was going on before. We did our best. Luckily, Ben had his notes printed and unsmashable, which smart move, and something I will be learning to employ in future baseball broadcasts. But like, we ended up doing it. We did the game. We both, of course, made reference to it, like, I think 3 times throughout the broadcast. About, when there was a foul ball, about how you have to be dangerous, or excuse me, how it could be dangerous and you have to be ready for it. And, I would say, my laptop just before the broadcast learned that lesson the hard way. A foul ball hit my computer, of all things. Like, luckily, when you think about it, luckily it didn't hit me in the top of the head. Luckily it didn't hit any of the TV broadcasting equipment. So in that case, we were really out of the job, at least for that day. And luckily, no one was actually hurt. But brother, I could not fathom what just happened. So then after I ended up having the ball that hit the computer in my hands. I kept it. And I just had it kind of obviously I took all my pictures with it. I took a picture of the laptop. And luckily it was still able, it didn't hit the hard drive or anything. Like I said, it just hit the monitor. So I was able to at least recover the data off that laptop, but that thing, like, it was still functional with an external monitor, but that thing died like a week later. It was incredible. I'll post pictures coming up soon on Twitter and Instagram to show you what I was doing to study for finals. Now that my laptop was smoked, like the monitor would turn on, but it was like purple and green and like obviously shattered. But we made it work. I kept the baseball. Me and Ben and Patty was doing Patty Cicerani was doing sideline for us as well. So we all signed the ball, and Ben ended up getting it encased to immortalize it forever. And I'll be getting that ball back pretty soon when me and Ben do our Red Wings season review coming up later in the coming weeks here on the GioMoShow. So be sure to stay tuned for that, and we'll obviously show the baseball on the video as well. But it's a story I will be telling forever. I brought baseball. I brought a baseball glove to the rest of the games that I was calling that season to catch the ball just in case it happens again. Every foul ball is now terrifying. I'll be having to wear a helmet and a catching glove when I'm calling these games from now on, and I'll be telling this story at every opportunity from now until I retire from broadcasting. Not for a long time. So that is the legend, and that is the story of the laptop game. That happened 1 year ago tomorrow. So it's a historic moment here, and it's a story that if you guys will be listening to some of my baseball broadcasts coming up later down this season, you'll hear it again. You'll hear it referenced. And I forgive Milwaukee, but I will never forget that they destroyed my laptop. Ended up getting a new one. Obviously, I worked out a deal, got that taken care of. But that's a way to get remembered. I made some connections with people through that game because I obviously remember the kid who got his laptop destroyed. But either way, it was a fun game, and to get the final result of that game, if you guys want, Oakland ended up winning it 4-2. So it was a little bit of a consolation prize. They sabotaged the broadcast, but they did not get the win. Oakland ended up winning that series at home against Milwaukee. So, yeah, that was something, huh? I've never felt that kind of emptiness and like emotionless after something like that happened. Like I was furious about it a little bit after, but like I wasn't mad. Because I just couldn't even process it to get to the point where I was mad. I just went blank. So that's story time with Jomo. That's the story of the laptop game, and we'll be telling more stories about that throughout the season. So that will cut off the Jomo Show here a little bit early here as we're going to get ready for baseball at 1:30. Be sure to subscribe to the Jomo Show on YouTube. Be sure to follow and find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, whatever that is. Anywhere, Spreaker. We got you covered on the Jomo Show. There's no way to miss it. There's no way to miss our update of baseball this week. There's no way to miss our update of softball this week. And there's no way to miss the laptop game story time with the Jomo Show. Also, be sure to stay tuned. Later this week, we'll be having... I just got done filming the interview with the Oakland University dance team. We had Milena, we had Alexandria, and we had Kayla come into the studio. We got the interview done. It was a fantastic way to learn about what they do, learn about how they got to Oakland University, what dance is like, and to learn about their competition coming up in the next couple of weeks. They got a showcase of what they're going to be taking to their national competition. That is Saturday at noon at the arena. Free attendance to go and see what our dance team is going to be doing on the national stage. It's your chance to go out there and support them, see what they do, and to, be part of the Golden Grizzlies community. Because it takes more than just the team on the floor to make the arena happen. It takes the dance team, it takes the announcing, it takes the band, and the dance. And like I mentioned, the dance team is a huge part of that. So Saturday at noon at the arena, you get to go see what the dance team is up to and what they'll be taking on the road for their national competition. So we got that coming up this weekend, and we got the interview that's going to be coming out by about Wednesday. Be sure to stay tuned to that one. That will be releasing on WXOU Sports' YouTube channel, as all of the GioMoShow interviews have been or will be from now on. So be sure to subscribe to WXOU Sports. Follow me on social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel of the GioMoShow. Find WXOU wherever you can, and support your favorite college radio station. So, from Giovanni Mosheri from WXOU, this has been the GioMoShow. We'll see you next week, Mondays at noon, right here on 88.3 FM WXOU. I'll tell that story forever, man. I still find people at the station that haven't heard the story yet, and I'm like, oh, let's go. Because it's also, I mean, part of it is the fact that I think it's a good story. I like telling it, but it's also just the more of the pride and more of like vengeance of like that game, because it's like I can't just lose an entire laptop and not tell the story forever. Like, I need to get something out of it other than like whatever else came out of it. It helped me get a little bit more involved with athletics, and kind of worked out from there. But like, dude, I had that thing since like freshman year. I was able to transfer the data, but like, dude, I've never felt anything like that before. And I hope to never feel true fear and shock like that again. But anyway, that's going to close out the live stream here for the GioMoShow. Appreciate you guys listening. As mentioned, you can find the podcast of the show if you missed any part of it. That's linked in the description here. Be sure to like and subscribe to the GioMoShow. Like and subscribe to WXOU Sports. Like and subscribe to WXOU. We got all the YouTube channels here. Follow us on social media, and also be sure to stay tuned to WXOU 1:30 in about 45 minutes. We're gonna have Oakland baseball up and running here for you guys for our first baseball broadcast of the season. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So stay tuned to that, and we'll see you Monday at noon. Thank you, everybody. This has been the GioMoShow.